My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Aries. Welcome to your beautiful Aries season. Happy, happy, happy birthday to all Aries in this world, to my beautiful followers, my fledglings, to everybody who hasn't subscribed yet or is still kind of hinting at wanting to. But I feel like that everybody should always get their birthday month, season, date, anything, always acknowledge. So if your birthday was on March 21st, happy belated birthday. But anyway, may all of your beautiful and amazing wishes all come true after you blow out your birthday candles. So for today, I'm going to be doing a general love reading, a 5-card spread. But before I do that, I want to offer these two beautiful roses as a token of my love and appreciation for you all for supporting me, but also a birthday gift because I feel like everybody should also receive gifts. So thank you so much, and I thank you guys. I really hope everything will work out. But anyway, this 5-card love reading includes where the first card represents you, the second, the other person, the third, the relationship, fourth, the past, fifth, the future. Then I'm going to draw a Vampire Oracle for you and then a Favole, but let's get started with card number 1, which is you. Hanged Man. This is Pisces energy. You could have Pisces somewhere in your star chart. Beautiful, steamy. But yeah, I'm kind of getting here is, you're doing some self-reflection here, but I'm getting, from both, the ones in a relationship and the ones who are single. I'm kind of getting, it's like, yeah, there is some, self-reflection that you're going to be, working towards and stuff like that. And you're pretty much doing introspection. And it's not per se hesitation unless, you do, have, some form of hesitation in any way. But I just kind of have this feeling, you're doing introspection. You're kind of, just, thinking about maybe, if you're in a single situation about how you could either, find true love or something, or maybe you're in the process of doing a lot of, self-development or, self-care, self-nurturing in any way because Pisces is water. But I'm just kind of getting, it's like, you want to do like self-improvement. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And I think, okay, it's like, self-improvement, is important in many ways. I think, everybody should always, try to, want to improve, it's like there's no such thing as perfection in any way. But if you want to do any kind of improvement, that's always, very good, for goals, dreams, aspirations, endeavors, whatever it may be. And for the ones who are in a relationship, I think, it's like, I'm not really getting the divorce or breakup kind of feeling here or something, but, unless you are going through any kind of divorce or breakup, 100% your prerogative in any way, my beloved Aries, man, woman, whoever's watching. And I want to wish you all the best of luck because nobody should ever be suffering in this world in any way. But I'm kind of, getting, that you're doing, some self-reflections here, which is actually, pretty good for either way, so. But let's see who the other person is. King of Wands, Leo energy. My goodness, oh my goodness, Aries and Leo. What a beautiful, passionate, fiery connection. Okay, man, woman, whoever this may represent. Yeah, the other person could be incredibly, courageous, strong, passionate. I mean, what I'm kind of getting here with this combination is, especially for the single Aries in this world, is maybe you have your eyes on somebody. And, this person is probably coming off as very strong and confident, stuff like that. And maybe you're going to try to find a way to kind of, approach them. It's like how, two individuals back in my time would, will watch each other from across the tavern and stuff like that. And they're kind of just, have their eyes on each other. But yet, it's like you're kind of just thinking, how can I approach this person? This person, could be the yin to your yang. You guys could, have, similar beliefs, values, feelings, sensations, or beliefs in any way, but it just looks like that you're kind of doing like, how can you approach this person? Well, I think you are the emperor, my beloved Aries. No matter what, you're always going to be a very strong, confident individual. So I just think there should actually be no problem whatsoever. If you feel like you lack confidence, sometimes you kind of have to overcome like any kind of like self-doubt about yourself or any kind of like negativity, and know that there's never going to be anything called perfection in this world. There's always going to be some kind of flaws and stuff like that, but that's why it's really always good to do like self-reflection, introspection, and self-development, and any kind of self-care and stuff like that. But for the ones who are in a relationship, my goodness, I mean, it doesn't per se have to be a Leo. It could just be somebody who just is so equally and just as passionate, strong, and courageous as you are. Yeah, two birds of a feather flock together, don't they? I want to know more. Relationship. Queen of Wands. Oh my goodness. Confidence City, my beloved Aries. You really hit the jackpot in this connection. Ooh. A lot of Leo energy here. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm kind of seeing. But for the ones who are single and you're kind of, you have your eyes on somebody, the thing is, it's like, it takes guts, as a human tells me, it takes guts, to actually approach somebody, that you may have your eyes on, because, it's like, well, maybe you're just a bit too nervous, maybe you're just a bit, uncertain, maybe a little insecure, but, the thing is, it's like, well, humans, or especially even with vampires, it's like in the past 300 years, I've lived mostly through experiences. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've even experienced, my own problems and my own insecurities in the past as well. But the most important thing is, it's like, there's no such thing as perfection. It's like, okay, sometimes, you approach somebody and then, you end up saying maybe something, that you think, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have said that. I'm so humiliated and embarrassed. The thing is, okay, sometimes these situations happen, but it doesn't mean that you're a ground fool or failure in any way. It's like, it's always good to, like, maybe ask, friends and family and stuff like that, or even, like, maybe do research on how you would approach somebody and stuff like that. Maybe, do a lot of practice sessions and stuff like that, either way. But for the ones who are in a beautiful, passionate connection, congratulations. I just want to wish you both the best in any way. So let's see what the past was about. Three of Wands, okay, well, for the ones in a relationship, you definitely went out on this beautiful love journey. Oh my goodness. So, but the thing is, yeah, I just see that, you pretty much, took time and effort. You pretty much embarked on this journey. You embarked on, the ship of opportunity, just like in that other Three of Wands from the other vampire deck. But, you definitely, you went on the hunt and you just found that person wherever it may have taken place. But it just looks... Congratulations. I'm just so happy and so honored, especially in your birthday season, or in our birthday season. But for the ones who are single, I can see that, okay, maybe you've, gone on plenty of journeys, and maybe, till today, maybe to no avail that you found your true love in any way. But the thing is, okay, it's like, again, there's no such thing as perfection. I personally am not perfect in any way. It's like, I am a monster, so, it's like, I'm always going to be incredibly different from the humans and stuff like that. But either way, yeah, it's like, okay, sometimes I can sort of relate to this, this card myself. It's like, for a very long time I stopped, courting humans and stuff like that. But the thing was, is when I even, started, my tarot, with humans and stuff like that, I couldn't help but be drawn to a lot of you. But, the thing is it's very, unrealistic for vampires and humans to even be together, because, it's like, I would most definitely outlive, and that would just mostly, be incredibly heartbreaking and stuff like that. So ever since, for a very long time, I just stopped courting humans at all, and I just think, okay, it's like, okay, I have the human, but even his, time is also, not that long in any way, it's like, and that's going to be incredibly painful for me. Will I ever find another familiar? I don't know. But either way, I know exactly how, this combination, will all too well, or at least this card. The future. Knight of Swords, Determination City. Okay. For the ones who are single, please keep going on this beautiful journey and hunt. I see so much passion, drive, determination, analytical, and, a really good strategy taking place. So I want to wish you all the best in any way. I'm sure, you guys are going to, meet each other somewhere. You guys are very determined, or especially you are. And, yeah, this looks incredibly very, beautiful, that you're going to be putting the time and effort into this connection, that you're the one who's going to be getting on this metaphorical horse, though, in this situation. It's like, you'll see this vampire, trying to aim at, the target and stuff like that. But I just think everything is going to work out for you, the single ones especially. And for the ones in a relationship, I see, so much more determination and analytical, feelings, and a really good strategy on wanting to keep going, and, keeping up this very beautiful fiery passion. Wow. Okay, I love this. And, you could end up even with an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. It's like, well, maybe, the Leo or Sagittarius or other Aries, may kind of be a bit different and stuff like that. But I do see, a promising connection. Let's see what Oracle has for my beautiful birthday Aries. Death Ride, saying goodbye. Okay, this is kind of like the the death card, but thank goodness it isn't. Saying goodbye, formal occasion, and honoring lives. Now, we both probably know what the formal occasion is going to be, and honoring lives is that you pretty much found your true love. Your guys are going to be, sealing the deal. Everything is just going to be wonderful. You guys are going to be honoring your lives in any way. And the death ride is kind of like having a rebirthing moment. So, it's like, again, out with the previous Aries and into the new Aries for 2025 up until 2026. But beautiful, amazing, and I love this card because I see a grand, renewal for you guys in a formal occasion, and saying goodbye to singlehood, saying goodbye to any kind of negativity, and welcoming a new beautiful year for you. Okay, what does Favole have for my birthday Aries? King of Butterflies, King of Swords. Okay, this is some more, air. Yeah, this is, an air card. You could end up with an Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. But, I see you, strategizing and using your analytical side and determination side of saying, okay, we are determined and we're going to be, strategizing on this beautiful connection. It's like, the two, individuals like in a tavern that are going to try to meet each other and saying, how can I approach this person and stuff like that. So I think you're going to actually manifest a very beautiful plan to find the other person of whoever it may be. Love it. Wow. Okay. Well, Aries, I'm going to have to leave it at this. But again, I want to wish you all a happy birthday. More birthday messages to come in the weeks and days to come. But either way, I'm going to have to leave it at that. In a few days, I'm going to go back to general readings. I'm going to go back and forth between general love for now. But I just want to thank you guys incredibly so much for choosing me as your Vampire Tarot Guide. Pretty soon, I'm going to be having a grand announcement of personal readings. So please feel free to check out the video coming up real soon. But anyway, I just want to thank you guys incredibly so much. And I love you guys so much.